So, Mark, did you see that totally authentic letter from the Luxor explaining how they're going to close? As the Luxor social media account says, the fact that someone thinks I use 30-point font is what's really upsetting.
It kind of reminds me, wasn't there a rumor that it's sinking into the ground and it's going to get knocked down for like 2 decades now? I feel like every city that anybody grew up in had one school that was like, oh, it's sinking, we're going to have to tear it down.
I don't know, but if you're going to create a fake letter like this, make it look real. What is with the big font? I don't know, but long live the Luxor.
They should at least use like Egyptian font or something.
So happy Friday, everyone. On the last show, we talked about Caesar's Palace turning 60 and showed you that incredible recreation of all the years. But 5 years after he opened Caesar's Palace to the day, Jay Sarno opened Slots of Fun, and it just had its 55th birthday with the best casino carpet in all of Las Vegas hanging on there. I just love that place, always will. And now the coin slots there as well. Long live Slots of Fun.
Just when I couldn't think Slots of Fun could be better, there used to be like a little lake outside of it. You had waterfront property, rolling dice right on the strip. Oh, I didn't think it could get better, but this makes me sad.
Yeah, you used to have the fountains out there. Circus used to have a carousel out on the strip, a very grand entrance, sort of similar to Caesar's Palace, and it's been long gone. I always thought it was such a waste that that area out front is just a parking lot now, and, you know, they charge for parking there, but make something good out there. Put a carousel.
Yeah, that used to be your favorite place to park back before they charged, right? Or it was like very cheap back in the day.
That was a great hack. Nobody ever parked there. You could just get there right on the strip. Oh my God, those were the days. But it could be something better now. It's such a wasted space out front.
Yeah, and with what we're seeing, like everybody else kind of using that to monetize, and I know they're doing that with parking, but they're adding restaurants or bars or even like little shanties out in front of the horseshoe. And you think they would do something similar, draw the eye in. It doesn't look great. It kind of looks like anything else. And you would think that they would take advantage of that, one, because they could make money, and two, to bring a little bit more people in.
Well, hopefully people go visit, go play the coin slots. They're a lot of fun. Check out that carpet. You won't regret it. But let's talk across the street at Sahara. And this kind of flew under the radar. Boring has opened a Vegas loop station at Sahara. It is connected to the wider Vegas loop. And I looked it up, and it's about $14 if you want to go from Sahara to the airport. Remember, that's in testing and limited, so it doesn't mean you can get it all times. A day pass is $13.25, or a one-way is $7.50. So kind of just tied in with everything else. But Sahara becomes the second place to have both a monorail station and a Vegas loop station behind Westgate.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the expansion, and that's an amazing price. That kind of reminds me of what you used to be able to get to the airport 5 or 10 years ago, and it's crazy prices now a lot of times. The question is, did you think that these were going to be like underground stations similar to what we see in the convention center? That's kind of what I envisioned, and maybe I didn't look at the plans that closely. I kind of thought they'd be like like almost like a subway station that you go down into, and I was like, okay, maybe that's why this is taking so long. They got to build this out. And just having all these surface street stations where basically it comes out of a tunnel, you get in a parking lot. It seems like this should be moving a lot quicker if that's the case.
Well, the properties themselves pay for the stations, and so I believe it's always been in the plan for most of them to be above ground. The one at the conventions, I guess, the one at the convention center had to be underground, but that's a huge project. It's almost like a subway station down there. It's not as big, but it is way down in the ground. So this is a way to make it cheaper. I guess the Resorts World station sort of feels like it's underground. It's in the base level of that garage area, that tunnel that goes under the property. So even though they didn't have to dig, it makes you feel like you're underground.
Yeah, and maybe that's just me being, pie in the sky on my thoughts, but that's kind of what I always envision. The cars are in a tunnel. We're going to be underground, getting into the cars, and then just kind of move along. And yeah, this is great if it's cheaper and it's easier and they can make it work within it. I mean, we saw when Uber and Lyft first became a big thing, it was such a mess and nobody really had designed that space because they hadn't thought about it. It wasn't a thing when they built these properties. And this is kind of, if they can make that work, I'm okay with it. But you would think it would be moving along a bit quicker if you're not having to build out this massive thing at each property.
Well, we should see a lot more stations coming online. The bigger tunnels, they're far into construction now. So it should be, I mean, we've been talking about the system. The original one opened in 21, I want to say, maybe 22, but I think it's been quite a while. So good to see Sahara online. It's over by the monorail station on Paradise. That's the side of the property that you'll find it on. But we have other news to talk about when it comes to ride sharing. Zoox, which has been in town giving free rides since last year, has not been able to charge for rides because of government regulations and the way that their cars are set up, because they're not traditional with steering wheels and stuff like that. But they just got approval from the government through 2028 to initiate 2,500 paid taxis per year. So they can't roll this out like all across the country, but they said they're going to do it in Vegas. So starting next week, they're going to start charging in Las Vegas for taxi rides, Robotaxi rides. They say they want to keep the price similar to what rideshare or taxi would be. That kind of hurts. I would hope they would be a little cheaper to start, but we don't know the prices yet. When they release the service next week, we'll be able to see it in the app.
Yeah, you would think it'd have to be like 20% cheaper to get people on board. I know a lot of people are still uncomfortable with this, and you have to get them in there, give it a try, and you have to make it worthwhile to them to risk life and limb to ride in one of these. And we've seen some things go wrong. And yes, it goes wrong when you have a person driving, but I think people are more comfortable with that. So just saying like, hey, we got rid of the driver, we have all this stuff, but it's going to be like the same price. I'm not taking it if it's the same price. I'm going to go with the taxi, or I'm going to go with Uber or Lyft, and I'm going to support somebody that has that job. And I also have a higher comfort level there, and it just feels a little bit safer at this point, even though it might not be. That's just the way it feels. So you would think that they would come in with like bargain prices. I don't know. This doesn't scream that it's going to be gangbusters.
Well, considering that they couldn't charge and they were doing this for free, I still think we might see some cheaper prices, even despite what they say. Maybe they're just setting long-term expectations. And we always know when they start with low prices, they go up anyway. So in the long term, they're going to be the same, right? It's a free market. They're going to compete against all of this stuff. I think it's a superior experience to an Uber or a Lyft. You have 4 passengers that can face each other. It's a great experience, the technology in there. I really enjoyed the rides. I hear what you're saying about the jobs, and that is a valid concern, especially in Las Vegas with all the tourism, the taxi drivers. It's a huge economy of people. I don't know what the right answer is, but I do enjoy the Zoox experience, and I don't always enjoy the awkward lack of conversation or conversation with Uber drivers.
Until you get stuck in the middle of an intersection and nobody can do anything because it doesn't know what's happening.
That's Waymo, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you to Built for sponsoring this video. Start earning rewards on your rent and mortgage by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code on your screen.
Earning rewards on your biggest payments every month, your rent or mortgage payment, is great. But what I really love about Built Rewards is how valuable those points are. They have the best lineup of transfer partners. You can do a whole bunch of different things outside of travel as well. But I even took my family to London, and we stayed in a hotel, very nice hotel, that I transferred, took advantage of a transfer bonus during one of their Built rent days, and got a room for 5,000 Built points a night. That's insane.
Yeah, I love to transfer my points to Hyatt, and then I'm always excited when I get that email from Walgreens when those purchases earn random Built points. Every new member should download the app. It's free. Sign up, link your cards, and get going with the Built program.
Yeah, once you're in the ecosystem, you can take advantage of everything that they have to offer. We're talking like pop-up dinners, soul cycle classes, things like that. Get fit, earn points, spend points, have fun.
And the program just keeps getting bigger and better, more partners all the time. Click the link down in the description. Sign up for free. Thanks to Built Rewards for sponsoring this episode. So one of the themes we always talk about on the show is wanting more operators on the Las Vegas Strip, and that has sort of happened in the last few years. Hard Rock coming in, Venetian getting sold, stuff like that. But Penn is a huge name in the casino space, especially with regional casinos. They have tons of properties. The one in Las Vegas is the M Resort, very famous, very popular. But a question in the earnings call was, would you want to get on the Las Vegas Strip? And they said, yeah, if the right property, what you would expect them to say. But another thing I thought was interesting, it says, we're certainly not interested in acquiring an asset that's going to require another $400 to $700 million capital expense investment because it's got deferred maintenance. And I thought that was a little shot across the bow. We've talked about all the separation of land and buildings and the deferred maintenance that these companies are doing. And maybe that's going to make these properties less attractive in the long term.
Yeah, but Penn's kind of set up the same way. They spun off their land, and it's in a trust, and they're renting or managing most of their properties. They don't own a lot of them. So it seems like, but maybe they're doing a better job, or maybe their partnership has a better job of maintenance and upkeep. But we have seen that an issue with some of these properties in Las Vegas. So it is a concern, but it's not like they aren't playing the same game. So it was kind of interesting to see that. But hey, Planet Hollywood, come on, let's do it.
Well, there's a couple interesting aspects of this. Penn is the company that owned Tropicana and dumped it to Bally's. And this is probably a lot of where this is coming from, because that property, no doubt, had hundreds of millions of dollars in deferred maintenance if you were to keep it going. They're also the company that spun off GLPI, which is the company that owns the land under Tropicana, the one that we talked about that's funding a lot of the stadium site that owns where the A's stadium is going to be. So it's interesting, but they do have a history on the Strip getting out of the Tropicana, I guess, just in time.
Well, I mean, did they also defer maintenance before they dumped it? That could have been, they could have started that whole issue. But maybe this is them also saying, hey, like, hey, Bally's is going to fail, and then we're going to step right in and bring it back.
Maybe they wish they could build a casino there, but I don't know. But every owner that had that place since the 1980s did deferred maintenance. Nobody spent the money that they needed to. Even when they did that Miami Beach refresh at the Trop, it wasn't as extensive as it needed to be.
Are you saying lipstick on a pig?
It was not a pig, Mark. It was not a pig. She was a beauty. What are you talking about? So we have to talk water, and this is a sad story, and it's continuing, and we have breaking news as of today that has even worse news. But the federal government decided to cut Nevada's portion of water from Lake Mead, and 28% reduction. We don't use all of our water because we have 100% recycling. We do all of these water saving measures and we do a great job, but they cut us by 28%. California dumps most of their water into the ocean. They got cut by 12%. Arizona got cut as well. Other states didn't get cut at all. But why are they making cuts? Well, just today, as we're recording this, the government announced that Lake Mead has hit an all-time record low, 1,040.5 feet. It previously had hit 1,040.58 feet back in the summer of 2022. Then it had gotten a little better. Now we are at an all-time low. So yeah, stop moving here, everybody.
No, and this is kind of annoying. You'd think it'd just be, all right, everybody that uses this water, everybody is going to get this amount of reduction across all the states. But it just kind of shows that this is what the government does. If you're really good at taking care of things, you usually get punished for it. And that's a lot what we see just in budgets. I know people that worked in government, and at the end of the year, if they haven't spent their entire budget, they just go out and buy whatever they need to buy, because if they show that they were fiscally responsible and spent less than their budget, then guess what? Their budget next year is going to be lower. And nobody wants that. So this is just the same type of thing when you're talking about water. The fact that Nevada takes so good care of their water is like, oh, we can cut them the most because they're so good at this, and we'll give everybody else the same. And most of the states were just, hey, do your best. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is a crazy indeed, but kind of scary. If we live here, they say that there's not going to be any cuts to services, no rationing yet. We've already been heavily rationed, though, and they charge us huge amounts of water if you have, like, grass and stuff like that. But, yeah, not looking good.
Yeah, Sean had to give up his grass because of this.
I did. It was too expensive. So the tragedy of it all. So let's move to something a little bit more interesting. Lady Luck shared this post on Facebook about her losses, and she goes through all the casinos in her year to date, and she says this is like her worst year so far, down $430,000 for 2026. She also goes into how she made more than that through all of her social media, YouTube sponsorships, and all of that to, you know, make you understand why she can afford to lose the $430,000. But we do like the transparency in the slot channels. Vegas Match Channel forever has been doing the yearly win-loss. So on every video, they keep track of it year to date. And then if you go into their Discord, they have an insane amount of stats. You can look like per game and all kinds of crazy stuff. I like this transparency. There was recently a controversy in the slot space. I won't talk specifically about influencers, but one accused another of using demo modes on a slot machine to fake big bets. And there was a lot of evidence that seemed to indicate that that was happening, which was kind of scary. So this whole arena of slot influencers, crazy, but I think these two pretty transparent.
Yeah, and it's just a reminder that even though you see these big wins, and they usually kind of play off the big wins, and that's what they share more often than not, they're still losing at the end of the day most of the time. I mean, I think Vegas Matt lost money last year. This year he's up a little bit. But I think even Lady Luck, she had said they were up like $200,000 and then decided to bet bigger because they were on such a heater. And that's when variance kicks in. It always comes for you when you decide, hey, we could be doing better if I bet more.
Yeah, Vegas Matt was down a couple 100,000, I think, and then they went on this run. They did also lose 1.3 million on a live stream, which doesn't count for this because it's not on the main channel. But, you know, it's all out there, and that's a crazy video if anybody ever wants to go see it. Painful. it'll hurt you in the stomach. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. Our weekly after show is a lot of fun, unhinged, talking about things we can't talk about YouTube, going into a lot of these topics more in depth. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everyone in our Patreon community. So, Mark, this week I went to Disneyland, which I'm not going to talk about here, but on the way back, I stopped in Primm to see what's going on out there with Terrible's taking over. And there's some little touches that they're doing. I noticed the Primm and proper is being redone into a 24-hour coffee shop that hasn't opened yet. They added a new stage there. They're offering $20 free play for everybody who comes in and signs up, which I thought was good. And there was a decent amount of people in the casino on a Tuesday afternoon. So I was really happy to see this. It felt like a positive sort of thing. And I got to take my daughter to go see the Bonnie and Clyde death car, teach her about that whole story, the coming of age love story of Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, it's so cool that that's still available to people, that they can go in there and check it out because of this. And I love that Primm and Proper. There's an amazing restaurant in Detroit called Primm and Proper, so I already like that. And I know you love yourself some coffee shops, so I'm sure you're excited to check it out once it's open. But I do think that the $20 offer is kind of fun, and something if you're driving to or from California, then you're going to want to stop in and take advantage of. And if you could get like a group of friends together, you could hop in the car, and maybe it makes it more worthwhile at the time. You all kind of pull your free bet and see what happens and have a good night. And I'm just really happy to see everybody kind of poured out their sadness when it was going to be closing and Primm was going away essentially. And we said, hey, make sure you support it. And if you were sad that you didn't get to say goodbye, now you have a chance to go out there and really keep it going. And it seems like people have been doing that.
Yes, and Zoltar as well. Go visit Zoltar. He's still out there rocking it. Always love to see him. But let's go downtown. We talked on a recent show about Golden Gate in their little dorm room looking room, the smallest room on Fremont Street. But maybe we have a contender for that at Four Queens in their North Tower. I saw C-Note share this, and it's funny because on the show you said the other room was perfect for C-Note. So he jumped into the game. Yeah, it's small. How about that? A little tiny room facing Fremont Street. The elevator may be a little noisy, but if you're by yourself, why not?
I think this one's a little better well appointed than the Golden Gate one, or at least it seems that way. Like the setup's a little bit better, but it's definitely the same vibe, like dorm room feel or like a hostel type of feel. But if the price is right, like you said, if you're by yourself and the price is right, then I can see going in here. I'm kind of upset that we didn't get to tour this when we were out there.
Yeah, to the point, this is the renovated tower, so this is the new decor. And, you know, when we're talking about the hostel, it's just the shape of the room and the size, not what it looks like. It looks like, to me, the other rooms that we did tour at Four Queens in the renovated tower, but, you know, get it cheaper. Sometimes you don't need a bigger bed. Sometimes you're by yourself. Maybe the sound would be an issue, but they did soundproof that building, so I don't know. Maybe it's not even that loud.
All right, you got to book both and you got to compare them. And that's a great video.
They talked a lot about how much money they spent to soundproof it and what a difference it is. So, you know, hopefully that fixes a lot of stuff. But who knows? Maybe there's other single rooms downtown. If anybody knows, let us know. And let's close with this. Our friend Tibor is back. If you remember, he's the one who created that Nevada Landing tribute site that we covered a while back, and from visits that he had with his girlfriend and wife when they were young, and I had the same thing. All that nostalgia came back. Well, he created something even better now, a tribute site to the Las Vegas Boardwalk, or the Holiday Inn Boardwalk Casino. You know what it is. And this is incredible. He did such a great job with this, bringing you back to the days of the surf buffet, the butterbean commercials, all the decor. And this is a property I never spent a ton of time inside, admittedly, but it had the theming. It had all of that great Coney Island sort of theming all around. And in this site, he used some AI to kind of bring pictures to life in the best possible way, I think. The design here is spectacular. It really brings you in there. He even got one of the URLs that the Boardwalk Casino used at one point in their history. And he also goes into great depth to give everybody credit, all of that. This is incredible, incredible stuff.
Yeah, 12 out of 10. Like, amazing, especially for something that just doing like a passion project. And we know as we do website stuff and building out things and design, it definitely takes some effort and it's a labor of love. And when you're doing it for no monetary purpose, it's even more impressive. So this is really fun, and it gives a lot of people that love that property a chance to take a look back at it. And I just really love that theming. I didn't get to take advantage of it or witness it. It was before my time, but it does take me back to my childhood. Grew up on the East Coast and saw a lot of this in the summer and everything. And I would love if somebody did kind of like a smaller type casino design like this, or something like a micro casino along those lines that was themed. And I think this would be like the perfect type of setup. Have a roller coaster around the outside. It just would be kind of fun, and I hope somebody would bring it back. But man, those prices on the buffet are just wow.
I grew up watching the commercials for the surf buffet. They would run all the time on the local things, and it was always Butterbean and, you know, the song and everything else there. It was also low rent, or seen as low rent back then. The desire to be more luxurious in Las Vegas is why it went away and eventually became part of what is City Center now. And you can see the vast difference on the Las Vegas Strip from when this was there. But the facade where you had the fake roller coaster there always gave you incredible vibes. But Vegas didn't really want to go for the Atlantic City, Coney Island boardwalky thing. They wanted to go with luxury, you know, Crystals Mall, Versace, all that good stuff. And that's what replaced it.
Yeah, the sad thing is, if they would have just been able to hold on for a couple more years, Jersey Shore came out, Gym Tan Laundry, they could have really leaned into the hype. It would have been amazing.
I don't know, but we need 20, you know, this is the day where they had a 24-hour buffet, Mark. What the heck happened to Las Vegas? We don't even have buffets anymore.
For $10.
Back
$10.
And you could get it anytime. You could stumble in at 3 a.m. and just go eat at the buffet. What a time to be alive.
Oh my gosh, that does sound like magical. They need it. Bring it back. Somebody bring back an all-night buffet. Oh, it'd be so cool.
I'm sure it wasn't as good as you might think in history, but he did such a good job here. You need to go through, click through, see all of it. He gives credit to everywhere. He gets, you know, the images and all of that. This is just an incredible project, and the Las Vegas fan community is so lucky to have him.
Yes. Thank you again for doing this. Hopefully you do another one. You find something else that you're passionate about in Vegas and bring us back the nostalgia.
One word, Tropicana. Tropicana. Let's do it. Let's bring back.
It hasn't been long enough, man.
What? What? I mean, the Tropicana temporary casino was there last year, so
Hooters.
I guess we got a little
Hooters
taste.
has been longer than Tropicana. Let's do that.
Oyo is still there, though. Just go in. They still got Hooters signs
good.
They never paid to take anything out. You can still see all the Hooters bones everywhere in there. So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Slots of fun, turning 55. Is that still one of your favorite places to go? Us running out of water, paid Zoox rides, the boardwalk. What are your favorite memories of the boardwalk in Las Vegas? Leave a comment below. We do 2 MTM Vegas shows a week, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another show, going back to Tuesdays and Fridays next week. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
With occasional surprise Sunday shows, right?
Yes, let's do it.
Have a good weekend, everybody.